I hate how well the Apple ecosystem works, and this is why I don't think I will ever leave it. When I started writing the script for this video, I really struggled to come up with why I use Apple. Like, I know why I use my M3 Pro MacBook Pro. It's got a 12-core CPU, 18-core GPU, and 36 gigs of RAM, so I can do video and photo editing on the go. But I also use it to run Windows and Linux virtual machines. I know why I use my M1 iPad Pro 12.9 inch with cellular, so I can also edit videos and photos on the go. But I also use this as my main content device. I watch YouTube, Netflix, Amazon, etc. all on my iPad. Also, Android tablets are just crap, even the high-end ones. You'll probably never see me using an Android tablet. I know why I use the Series 9 Apple Watch. I could use a Galaxy Watch, or a Fitbit, or a Garmin, but the Apple Watch, it just makes sense. And it just works. I know why I use AirPods Pro. For my ears, I can't use normal AirPods or EarPods as they really hurt. But also the noise cancellation on these are amazing, and it just works with the rest of my Apple products. But at the center of all of this, it's my iPhone 15 Pro Max. I don't know why I use the 15 Pro Max. I know it has a great screen, great cameras, a fast processor, plenty of storage, USB-C, but I had all that beforehand. Before my 15 Pro Max, I had the Galaxy Z Fold 4 from Samsung, and I loved that phone. To date, that has probably been my favorite phone of all time. I could use an amazing outside screen for quick things, or I could unfold it to do multiple things at once or for watching content. It had great build quality considering it was a foldable. Amazing multi-camera array with 8K video recording. It had Samsung's One UI based on Android. To me, a very intuitive operating system. And I could plug in a USB-C monitor to get a full desktop experience with Samsung DeX. I could customize it to be mine because it's Android. So, why do I use iPhone? Because it's just easier that way. Now, I'm privileged enough where I can go back and forth between Android and iPhone every couple of years. I'm used to copying and moving all my stuff across. It's a pain in the ass. But in my 26 years, I think I've had more phones than the average person, but less than the average tech YouTuber. I've had a Nokia brick phone, the original Motorola Razr, the LG KS360, a BlackBerry, the Motorola Defy, the Samsung Galaxy Note 2, iPhone 6 Plus, Sony Xperia C3, Samsung Galaxy S8 and S9, and the Galaxy S10 Plus, the iPhone 12 Pro, the iPhone 13, which was provided by my workplace at the time, the Google Pixel 6 Pro, which is the worst phone I have ever used, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4, and now, the iPhone 15 Pro Max. That is 16 phones, 4 of them iPhones. At my core, I'm a techie. I like specs, components, and customization. That is why I've installed Windows and Linux on my Mac with Parallels. I use Google Chrome across all my devices and not Safari. Notion for my notes and my calendar, not the Apple Notes or calendar apps. YouTube Music and not Apple Music. Spotify for my podcasts and not the Apple Podcasts app. Google Photos for all of my photos and not iCloud Photos or Apple Photos app. I have a Synology NAS, my own cloud network for my own remote file access and not iCloud Drive. DaVinci Resolve for my video editing and not Final Cut Pro. Surfshark VPN for my VPN and not iCloud Private Relay. And I use Google Maps and Waze because I don't feel like getting lost with Apple Maps. So, why do I use the Apple ecosystem? The Mac, the iPad, the Apple Watch, the AirPods, the 15 Pro Max. Because it just works. When I go to the gym, Focus Modes knows my GPS location from my phone and turns on the fitness focus on my watch. And then when I get home to start work and open up my Mac, my watch, it unlocks my Mac. While I'm working, I need a second display. That's where my iPad comes in handy with Sidecar. And when I want to relax and watch a movie, my AirPods will just connect to my iPad. Do you see how the iPhone flows into the watch, which flows into the Mac, which flows into the iPad, which flows into the AirPods? It all just works. And I hate how well it works. Yes, I use a lot of third-party apps and programs because, as I said before, at my core, I'm a techie. I like specs, components, and customization. Now, I will not deny the fact that what Apple has done to have everything work together is pretty much magic. All the flowing that I mentioned before, plus AirDrop, iMessage, FaceTime, continuity camera, phone calls on all your Apple devices, universal clipboard, Apple Pay, AirTags, and the Find My network. The list could go on and on. The speed and the performance of the hardware and the software is another reason. That there, the custom editing and gaming PC that I built, it has an AMD 5950X processor, 64GB of RAM, an EVGA RTX 3080 GPU, a 1000 watt power supply, a 2TB SSD and 20TB of hard drive storage, all through an X570 motherboard. It's custom water cooled and is running Windows 11. Now, all of that sounds impressive until I say that the computer still overheats or slows down sometimes while I'm playing games or editing, or when the computer's being pushed to its limits. My MacBook Pro has a 12-core M3 Pro processor, an 18-core GPU, and 36 gigs of unified shared memory. And guess what? It doesn't even break a sweat. And that comes down to two things. Apple makes the hardware, and Apple makes the software. That is why everything works so well together. Apple makes everything, so it works. Android and Windows users tend to be like, Android did it first, or Windows did it first, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Yeah, I know. When Apple does something new, they make sure they get it right the first time, with no hiccups. Or at least they try. And so what if Apple appears to be copying Android and Windows features? Doesn't that mean they want to make their products better for their users? We can see in the last couple of years that Apple has implemented more choice and customization options into their software and their hardware, like high refresh rate displays, being able to have multiple different home screen layouts, different default keyboards or browsers, and mailing apps, widgets, and supposedly rumors are for later this year in iOS 18, you can place apps on the screen wherever you want and not in the fixed grid like it is now. Now, I am a huge fan of Google's not-so-new messaging protocol called Rich Communication Services, or RCS for short. It is end-to-end encrypted messages on Android that sends over the internet, where you get read receipts or typing indicators, and you can send high-quality videos and photos, just to name a few features. This sounds like Google just copied iMessage, which I'm so glad they did. For years, Google has been trying to work on Android's version of iMessage. Rest in peace, the Google messaging graveyard. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the Android green bubble and the iPhone blue bubble scenario. Between Android and iPhones, as of making this video, the protocol to send messages is either over SMS or MMS, which can't carry a lot of data, and that is why your Android friends get blurry pictures when you send them. Not only that, but the messages are a lot less secure, and they're not encrypted. The reason why I said as of this video is in mid to late 2024, Apple has confirmed they will be bringing RCS support to the iPhone for everyone, not just the European Union. This is good news for all. For years, Google, Microsoft, Samsung, and other manufacturers have been trying to make their products work better together. Google's ecosystem with the Pixel Buds, the phone, the tablet, the networking, the smart speakers, the watches, or Samsung's ecosystem with the Galaxy phone, the Buds, the tablets, the watches, the Galaxy laptop, and the soon-to-be Samsung Smart Ring. Google and Microsoft have their version of AirDrop between Android and Windows called QuickShare, and Microsoft has an app called Link to Windows so you can get phone calls and text messages on your Windows PC. And don't even get me started on how Google, Samsung, and other manufacturers are trying to make their own processors to power their own devices, just like Apple. Now, I also want to acknowledge that at the moment, I understand why people don't like the Apple ecosystem for being so closed and for being a walled garden. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with the lawsuit between the US government and Apple in the coming months. I feel that this is a very, very similar case to what happened in the 90s between the US government and Microsoft for being a monopoly. Now, I've used multiple different ecosystems in my life, and that is why I think I will be sticking with Apple, at least for the foreseeable future. In my life, I've had 16 phones, 4 of them iPhones, 5 laptops, 2 of them MacBooks, and 5 tablets, all of them iPads. The last time I was fully in the Apple ecosystem was 10 years ago when I had my iPhone 6 Plus, the 2012 MacBook Pro, which I still have, and the first generation iPad Air. However, I'm more invested now with the watch, the AirPods, and probably soon the Apple TV. Back between 2012 and 2015, I was still exploring the tech world and managed to get out. I'm not saying I can't get out of the ecosystem now. I know I could if I wanted to, as I've done it before. I know how to make different operating systems work together and to make different devices work together. But I just don't think I want to leave this time. And that's because everything just works. Hey, thanks for sticking around until the end. Sorry if I seem a little bit off. I'm a little bit under the weather. I was really pushing myself to make this video. Reading the script took a long time. I kept on messing it up, take after take after take. But yeah, if you like the video, please hit the like button. What I'll do is I will leave some other videos that I like down in the description of some other creators with their opinions on the Apple ecosystem. Also, don't forget to follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I post heaps over there, probably a bit too much, but I'm trying to grow on those platforms as well. And subscribe as well. I've got a lot of things planned, like almost too many things planned. But again, I want to make good content and not rushed content. Alright? So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay well, and stay happy. See ya. Some tribulations, not me in a team.